Welcome to elenasbarre low impact full body workouts. On this channel you find different format workouts that will help you to tone up your muscles, improve your posture, gain overall strength, endurance, balance and flexibility. Check more classes on elenasbarre Patreon. Join us for my crazy piano practice on Sundays. We also talk about controversial topics that can trigger you. You participate in our conversations voluntarily at your own risk. Read the disclaimer in the description box. If you don't want to be mentally or physically challenged, I suggest that you skip this video. Thank you so much for your understanding. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to elenasbarre low impact full body workouts. We have full house today with Melody and with Emma. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Today, Melody is going to teach us Pilates/yoga class, whichever one she wants to to do. Mel, it's up to you. A mix, yeah, maybe. She's going through the Pilates teacher training, the same training I went through before I started teaching Pilates. And here we have Paul joining us. Hi, Paul, good to see you. So he's asking Mel if you could implement the inversion or inverted bicycle and scissors into the class.
No, because I'm going through like the kind of the lessons like sequentially for like the training I did. I actually already did those a couple months ago, I think. So yeah,
Okay.
I've got to kind of like stick to a time limit, but also get through everything that I need to do for the teacher training. So we're gonna just kind of be tackling
sorry, Paul.
next section.
Pilates has a format, okay, and in order for us to pass the teacher training, we have to follow it. So not today. Maybe if you check my yoga classes on Patreon, check the link in the description.
We will be doing like the sideline scissors.
Yeah. So we have Accounting Ship joining us today. Hi, Accounting Ship. Good to see you. Good. Okay, let me change the format a little bit. Before we begin, guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and yeah, join us for the class. Try to stay till the end because we would love to get your feedback. Okay, Mel, I'm going to mute myself. You, whenever you're ready, you can start. And yeah, let's just take the sound down.
All right, cool. Well, it's still kind of early, so we're going to start with just some basic warm-ups from the Polymukdasana series, which is the anti-rheumatic, really good for waking up the joints, getting them kind of ready to go for the day. So we'll start with kind of fingers and arms. So kind of stretch your fingers out as big as you can. If you need to sit on a block or something, if you find that you're rounding into the lower back, sit on a block or pillow, you're going to make a fist, stretch them out wide again, make another fist. We'll do that one more time. If you prefer to sit cross-legged, you can do that too. Do some wrist circles, going one way, and switch them around. Go the other way. Arms out to the side, palms open towards the ceiling, and just kind of some little shoulder taps with the fingers, warming up your elbows. Do a couple more of those. Now keep your fingers on your shoulders, and we're just going to trace some big circles with our elbows, like you're drawing circles on the side walls. And go ahead and reverse. As you bring it back, see if you can really kind of like squeeze your shoulders together to try to touch your shoulder blades. All right, and we'll lift our hands up to the ceiling and back down, up and back down. One more time, back down. I'm going to move on to the lower body a little bit. So I'm just going to turn so you can see a little better. So just kind of bring your toes, kind of flex them so your toes are pointing back toward you. You might even lift your heels off the ground a little bit. And we're going to point. Again, flex, point, flex, and point. And just some ankle circles. We'll kind of grab behind our, up above your knee, behind, kind of on the hamstring, and just kind of Circle the ankle one direction. I'm getting some little ankle cracks there. You're waking up, and then switch, circle them the other way. And do some little knee circles. So the knee stays in place, and you're just going to trace like a little smiley face with your toe. I don't really flex or point my toe for this. I just kind of keep the natural foot. And now we're going to kind of switch, so we're doing rainbows. Let's do a few of those. And now if you want, you can grab your foot, keeping your right hand behind your ankle, and just kind of rotate the hip, do some little circles. And then other way. Now you're going to cross your right foot on top of your left. And you don't have to force it down, but just kind of really gently just kind of push the knee down, just kind of little jiggle, just kind of waking up the hip a bit more. Just stick with the range that's comfortable for you. My knee is not coming anywhere near the ground right now, so. All right, I'll stretch it back out. So we're gonna do that stuff with the other leg. So grab behind your left knee now. And just some ankle circles. Make sure you're sitting nice and tall, straight spine. Switch the direction. Oh, this ankle's waking up. Snap, crack, when popping. And now do those little smiley faces. Just going back and forth. Keeping the knee in place so you're not moving from the hip. And now rainbows, up and over. Now we're going to do kind of the hip circles. So I'm going to just kind of like you're stirring a weird pot or something. I think my friend called this I called it the butt spoon. Can't remember what it's actually called. So switch directions. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Now we're going to rest that foot lightly on top of the right quad. If that's like even too much of a stretch, you can keep it a little lower on the shin. You just don't want to put it like right on top of your knee. And just some little, just kind of jiggle it up and down. Do a little bit of spine warm up here. So we're going to come to a cross-legged position. You're going to inhale, reach way up to the sky, and then come over to the right side, just as far as it's comfortable, as far as you can go, while keeping the left seat bone down. Come back up. We're going to come to the left side. Again, just kind of stretch as far as you can, keeping the right seat bone down now. Do that one more time to each side. So hands up together. Lean over to the right. Nice side stretch here. And hands up above. Come to the left one more time. Join the hands together, and now we're going to twist to make sure that you stay sitting nice and tall, but put your left hand onto your right knee. Right hand goes behind you. Just kind of twist as far as it's comfortable. Look behind your right shoulder without straining your neck. Come back up to center, hands up above, and we're going to twist to the left side. So now your right hand comes to your left knee. Left hand comes behind. Do a nice twist. We'll do that one more time each side. Twisting to the right. Hands up. And twist to the left. Do just a few cat-cows. So roll over, come onto your hands and knees. So you want your hands kind of under your shoulders, knees under the hips. And with an inhale, you're going to drop the belly, look up. With an exhale, you're going to bring your navel toward the spine, arch the back. See if you can look toward your belly. Couple more of those. So inhale, cow pose, look up, drop the belly. Cat, arch, down. And one more, up. And exhale, cat pose. Now you can either just come down to your side or you can transition through plank to down dog. Maybe pedal the feet a couple times, just warming up the back of the legs. And come back down to the knees. And I am starting on my left side. So I got a little cheat sheet here too, because I actually put this together last week and then I kind of forgot. But so we're going to start. You can kind of use your hand as a pillow. You can also prop up like this, but if you're going to prop up on your elbow, it's really important that you don't sag down like this. You want to keep your obliques engaged. I'm just going to kind of bend my arm like that and use my hands as a pillow. And so what we're going to do is you can stretch your legs long as far away you want the shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle to all be in a line. If you're finding that you're just like wiggling too much and like losing your balance, you can keep this lower leg down. I might actually grab a little pad here because I've got kind of bony side hips, and so it gets uncomfortable after a while laying on my side like that. So feel free to grab a towel or a little pad like this. And so we're going to start with just some side raises. You can keep your right hand on the ground in front of you, or if you're super stable, you can just keep it to the side or rest it there. I'm going to keep it here for now. You're just going to lift up. You want both of your toes pointing forward. And you don't want to lift it up super high because then you have to kind of rotate your leg forward, and we're just going straight directly up. And so just kind of the anatomy of your hip is going to limit the range that you can do. Let's just do 2 more of those. If you really want some extra work this morning, you can use a resistance band or ankle weights. Great. Okay. So now stretch the legs long. Be sure to check your alignment again. Make sure that you're in a nice straight line. We're going to do some side scissors. So you're just going to bring one leg forward, the other leg back. And again, just your anatomy, as long as you're keeping a natural spine, is going to limit how far you can bring that leg back. So we're just going to switch back and forth a few times. And this one, you do have to lift the lower leg off the ground. Otherwise, you're just dragging it along your yoga mat, and it's obviously a bit harder. Again, check to make sure that you're not sinking down, even though you're lying down. You want to imagine that you got a little plum or something between your side and the yoga mat, and you're not squishing it. Okay. And so now we're going to bring the leg forward and we're going to extend it and then just raise it up and down. So this one I feel like kind of stretches my hip and like works it at the same time. We'll just do 2 more of those. Now bring it back. We'll do some circles. So we're kind of doing all these in a row on one side. So you might be kind of feeling a little bit of burn by now. Again, you want to make sure that you're not rotating your hip, internally and externally. Let's switch the direction. Reverse it. I'll be doing these with control. No flailing legs. Check in with your neutral spine. Make sure you're not sinking in through your side. Now the side leg passe. So you are going to kind of externally rotate your top leg and just slide your toe up till you get, as high as you can. For me, it's about my knee. And then you're going to extend it. Flex the foot, which it's out of screen right now, but there it comes. lower it down. Do that a couple more times. Slide it up, extend. As you extend, there's definitely a temptation with me anyway to want to kind of sink down into my side. All right, and let's reverse that. So flex the foot, raise it up, point the foot, bring the toe to the knee, and slide it down. Let's do those a couple more times. And last time, toe to knee with control, slide it down. All right, so now we got to take a little break on that upper leg. So we're going to work the inner thighs, the adductors. We've been working our abductors. If you got like wider hips and like a shorter femur relatively, you may want to grab a block. These little wedge blocks are handy, so I'll just use one of those. So you're just going to rest your upper knee on the block if you're going to use that. Again, check in with your alignment. Make sure that your shoulder, hip, and your bottom ankle are still in a straight line. Your side is kind of lifted up from the ground a little bit and you're not just sinking down. And we're just going to slowly lift and lower. Do this a few more times. So when you lower, you're not going all the way down to the ground. And again, if you really want to increase the intensity, ankle weights are great for that. Let's do two more. Lift. You really want to feel your muscles squeezing, engaging as you get to the top. And the range of motion is going to look a little bit different on everyone. So let's kind of mermaid ourselves back up. So bend both legs. Use your hands to come up to sitting. It's going to take a little stretch break here. So legs are wide. We're just going to do a little forward fold. Stretch out our inner thighs that we just worked. If you want, you can kind of go side to side. So reach the left hand, well, both hands to the right leg. Come back through center. You really want to be bending more from the hips rather than just rounding the upper back. It doesn't matter if you actually touch your toes or not. It matters more is that you're feeling a nice inner thigh stretch. One more to that side. Let's just do a quick little hip stretch on that, the abductors that we just worked. So you can either bring your knee in close to your bum, next to your leg, or you can cross it over. We're going to do some Matsyendrasana. So you can just kind of hug the leg here. Twist a little deeper if you want. You can go for a bind so you kind of reach through that leg and then clasp your hands. Whichever modification gives you a nice stretch in the outside there. It's going to take a few deep breaths right into the outer hip there. All right, go ahead and release. We're going to do one more little fun one on our left side before moving over to the right side. So coming like this, you're going to keep both knees bent. You still want your ankles in line with your hip and your shoulder. And you can, again, come down to your forearm as long as you're lifting up through the side or back down to the arm. And so you're going to lift your legs so that your feet are basically in line with your tailbone. So they're going to be, depending on, again, hip width, it's going to look a little different on everyone. We're just going to open the legs and then close. Bottom leg stays on the ground this time. Open and close. Just do 3 more of those. And last one, we're going to keep it open. And now we're going to lift the knee, lift the ankle as we bring the knees together. And then knee comes up as the feet join. So let's just do a couple more of those. All right, and last one. All right, come down, take a little breather. If you want to just kind of roll through crocodile onto your other side, I'm going to flip around here so I don't have my back to the camera here. All right, so we're going to do that all on the other side now. So get yourself situated. Again, your choice of if you want to be on your forearm or use your arm as a pillow. We're going to start by just getting in line. Again, you can use this hand for stability or challenge your balance by keeping it up. We're going to start with just the leg raises. So toe points as you come up. Flex the foot as it comes down. Again, we're not doing external rotation with this, and so that is going to limit the range. But that's fine because we're still working our muscles. Let's do 2 more of those. And we'll get ready to move on to our scissors. So again, just take a second to check in with your alignment. And we're going to start crisscrossing. If your bottom leg was resting on the ground, you are going to have to lift it a little bit for this. And again, as long as you're maintaining a neutral spine, you're going to be limiting your range. But that's what we want. We don't want to be arching our back and kicking our leg way out back behind us. Okay, so legs come together. If you need to take a little break and drop that lower leg, you can. You're going to bend the knee, extend the left leg out in front of you. And again, just lower and lift. So you're just kind of tapping the floor and then lifting it up. Again, you don't have to lift it up super high or you're more than likely losing form. Let's do 2 more of those. And bring it back. We're going to do our little circles now. So quick little alignment check, quick kind of neutral spine check. Make sure that your heels are still in line with your tailbone, unless you're dropping your leg to the ground. And we're just going to start tracing some little circles. Again, these aren't going to be super huge, but you should still be able to feel them. And let's switch the direction. All right, now the side leg passes. So we are going to externally rotate now as we kind of point our knee towards the ceiling and slide our toe up to your knee or however high it wants to go. Straighten the leg up. Flex the foot as you bring it down. Let's do 2 more of those and then we'll switch the direction. So toe points, foot slides, leg extends up, and then flex your foot as you bring it down with control. Again, making sure that you're not dropping into your side as you lift your leg up to the ceiling. And let's reverse that. So leg lifts up. Point the toe, bring the toe to the knee, slide it down, lift up, toe to knee, slide it down. And the last one, you're going to lift it up. All right, so we're going to take a little break from our abductors for a second. If you want to grab a block for your upper leg for the inner leg work, go ahead and do that. Kind of refine your position. Make sure that your bottom leg, ankle, hip, shoulder in a straight line. Engage your core so that your side is lifted. And we're just going to start lifting the lower leg up and down. I keep my foot flexed for this one. So just a couple more of those. All right. I'm going to take a little stretch break here because I'm feeling it in my hips. So you're just going to use your hands to push yourself up to sitting. And again, you're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold. So try to keep the spine straight, hinge from the hips. Come down as far as you need to feel a stretch. You can stay like this, or if you want to start kind of going from side to side, really kind of concentrating the stretching one side. While you're doing this, though, you want to make sure that both seat bones are on the ground, because if you're lifting, that's going to put you more into a hamstring stretch. And we haven't really gotten into the hamstrings a whole lot yet, so just a couple more seconds in this, and then we'll stretch out our left hip before doing our last little stretch of hip work. So straighten the right leg. Again, you can bring your left foot just next to the right leg, close to the bum, or you can cross it over. And then you're going to hug your left knee in toward your chest. If that's enough of a stretch, cool, stay there. Otherwise, you can twist a little deeper, maybe move so that your right elbow is kind of pushing against your left leg there. Or if you want to bind, loop your hand through, clasp your fingers together, sit up nice and tall. And just twist back as far as is comfortable. Make sure that you're continuing to kind of bring that leg in toward your chest so you're feeling a nice stretch. And release. So we're going to come back for our last little bit, the oyster. So again, choose your position, forearm, laying on the arm, whatever works for you as long as you're keeping the side engaged and lifted, neutral spine. So now we're going to find that position where our right thigh is on the ground, but our heels are lifted so that our heels are in line with our tailbone. So right now we got a straight line from all the way down the spine through the tailbone to the heels. And we're going to start lifting the upper leg and closing. I like to exhale on the lift because that's kind of where most of the effort is. And then inhale as you come down. As often as you can, you want to be, breathing is a very important part of Pilates. So, try to coordinate your movements with the breath, and that'll really help you focus. And I feel like when you breathe the right way, it makes it feel a little easier too. So let's do one more, and then we're going to keep our legs open. And now we're going to do that. Lift the left heel as you bring the knees together. Now lift the left knee as you bring the feet together. Let's do a few more of those. So heel up, knee up, heel up, knee up, and heel up, and knee up. Now we're going to move up to a kneeling position. So we're going to go back to the right side again. This is kind of another variation for like hip work if lying down just doesn't work for you. So we're just going to do a couple of things there. So we're going to start, we just worked our left side. We'll go back to the right a little bit. This is definitely a kind of Buns burner class. I'm in that section of the Pilates teacher training. So this is a way that you can do it. You can just kind of keep your knee, you don't want to be leaning like that. You also don't want to be like that. So kind of knee directly below the hip. And you can just lift and lower. We'll just do a few of these. It's more just kind of for demonstration since we've already worked the hip a bit. And then you can do your circles. So let's just do a few like that. And switch direction. Super. And we're going to come back through kneeling. Do the other side. A little final stretch of hips here. Extend your left leg. And here too, you want to keep neutral spine in line. So you don't want to be sinking down. You don't want to be arching up like that. It's not a side stretch. And just with control, lift and lower. Just do one more of those and then we'll do a few circles. So circle it around, going one direction. And then circle it around going the other direction. Try to keep your upper body as still as possible. Super. Okay, so we're just going to kind of sit back in child's pose for a second. Just kind of relax the spine. Gentle hip stretch here. You know, you can do a wide-legged child's pose. Kind of sink down in between your legs. There's also a nice little chest opener. And we're going to kind of roll back over onto our back. If you want to do a couple little rolls just to kind of warm up the spine a little bit before we get into teaser, you can do that. You can kind of stay on your back and just kind of do a little gentle rocking back and forth. You don't have to be coming all the way up. And start to kind of connect with your core. You don't want to be like wildly flinging your legs like that and using like the momentum. That's fun on the playground, but this is Pilates. So you want to try to keep your body as stationary as possible while making it rock, if that makes any sense. Elena's got a nice trick with the keeping a yoga block here and then like a ball or something in your chest. It's a good way to get into it. So your next time coming up, we're going to stay seated and we're going to come into this position. So you kind of look like a funky M. Now check in, make sure that your spine is straight. Your arm position, I like to go like this. If that's uncomfortable, you can kind of have your hands out to the side here. That might be a little less strain on the elbows. We're just going to get into the core a little bit. So keeping the rest of the body stationary, you're just going to lift one leg and then gently tap it on the ground. Lift the other leg. Tap it on the ground. And even though this doesn't look like much, you will feel it a bit in your hip flexors and your abs. Make sure that you're not sinking down like this. Just one more of those. And if that's enough for you, awesome, stick with it. If you want, you can try lifting both. This is actually really good prep for getting into handstands. It kind of works the same muscles that you use like getting up into headstands. So we'll just do a couple of those. If you want now, bring them up, straighten the legs, and just little tiny movements up and down. I honestly feel like this is a little harder than the full teaser almost. So if you want to stick with one of those variations, go for it. If you want to try teaser, what we're going to do is we're going to C-curve, slowly with control come back, straighten the arms and legs, nice stretch, and then with an exhale, you're going to C-curve back up, and as you come up, you're going to lift the legs. You can keep them bent if you want, or go for the full extension. Just make sure that the spine stays straight. And then slowly with control, lower the legs, lower the upper body. Big stretch. Again, you can totally stick with one of those variations we started out with. Again, you're going to raise the arms, C-curve the body up. With control, lift the legs either bent or straight. Slowly come back down. And one more time. All right. Nice big stretch. We're going to roll over onto our stomachs for a little bit of swimming fun. This is actually kind of a nice section of the class because you can kind of just do this chunk and you get core, you get some hips and legs, and you get some upper body. So how we're going to start is just laying on your belly, feet stretched out behind you. Think about someone's kind of like pulling on your fingertips and pulling on your toes. So we're going to start, keep the upper body down, and just engage the glutes, the hamstrings, and lift the legs off the mat. Bring them down. Now you can keep your hands on the ground this first time, but you're not using your arms to push up, but you're just kind of almost doing a mini cobra, engaging your upper back muscles to look up, come down. We'll do one more each of those, and you can stick with this variation if you want. So lifting up the legs. You want to make sure that you're not arching the back, so keep the pubic bone pressed into the ground. Weight is off of the kind of the abdomen, the upper body. Now, if you want to do swimming, you have the option to kind of keep your body on the ground and so you're going to keep your left leg, right arm on the ground, and just lift the left arm and right leg, kind of like they're being pulled diagonally from each other, but stretching long behind and in front of you. Now we're going to switch. So left leg, right leg stay on the ground, or left arm, right leg, left leg, right arm come up, and release. And if you're ready for the full variation, you're going to lift the head you're not straining the neck and looking up, so I kind of look down in front of me. Arms and legs both come up, and then you're just going to alternate. So left leg, right foot come down, right foot, left leg. And you can do switch with each breath. If you want a little more intensity, you can speed it up so you're kind of fluttering and doing 2 to 4 kind of movements, switches per breath. If you need a break at any time, go for it. You can always go into child's pose or shavasana. Let's do a couple more seconds of this. And slowly with control come down. I'm just going to release the lower back a little bit and the shoulders. So let's start with a cobra. So you're just going to come up onto your elbows here. Just open up the chest. Relax the lower back. And then we're going to come into a child's pose. Couple breaths here. Just releasing any tension you might have built up in the back during that last little swim session. Now rise up to your hands and knees. Since we got a little shoulder work in, we're just going to give that a little stretch. So we're going to thread the needle. So take your right hand, kind of twist open up to the right side, and then you're going to thread your right hand kind of between your left arm and leg, and just kind of lay down, rest on it. Twist as much as is comfortable. I got a little back pop there. I'm still warming up. A few deep breaths into that right shoulder. You should feel a nice stretch. Feel like your shoulder blades are drawing apart from each other. come back to our starting kneeling position. And you're going to lift up the, left hand, and then thread the needle through the other side. Couple deep breaths here. And we'll come back to our kneeling position. So now we're going to move on to the leg pull down. So starting with a couple variations. One that you can do is you can start with kind of, left arm out, back to the ground, right leg out, back to the ground, and then right arm out, back to the ground, left leg out, and back to the ground. And the challenge with that is not, the real challenge is keeping your torso steady while you're doing that, because you keep kind of shifting your center of gravity. And so if you want to just work on that, go for it. If you want to do left arm and right leg at the same time, you can. Make sure that you're engaging your core so you're not sinking into the belly. And right arm and left leg. Let's do one more of each. And again, like whenever you're like, yeah, this modification is working for me, feel free to stick with that. I'm just going to go through a few different variations. All right. So another one you can do is you can do forearms. So move this. So hands are at like an 11 position. And again, kind of the key here is keeping your core strong and your torso stable. And so you can start with just kind of lifting one knee off the ground at a time. And so you don't want to be like rocking like this. So keeping the upper body as stable as possible. If you feel like you want a little bit more, you can start lifting both knees at the same time. If you want a bit more than that, both knees, and then do a little push forward with the toes so you rock forward, and then push back and lower them back down. So do that another time or two. If you want to just stick with this, just rocking back and forth. It's really good for the core. You don't want to be too arched, and you also don't want to be sagging down. So if you want to go for the full variation, we're going to come up onto our hands. If you have wrist issues, you might want to use some blocks, or I like these wedge blocks here. My wrists are actually feeling all right though today. And so we're going to start just being in a plank position and just rocking back and forth. If you want a little more challenge, lift the right leg forward, back, place it back down, lift the left leg forward, back, place it back down. I'm just going to alternate a couple more times with that. Awesome. Okay. Come down to your knees. Big stretch in your child's pose here. Kind of walk your fingers forward as far as you can. Plant the hands and then sink down into the hips. So you feel a nice stretch on your shoulders. And we're going to move through down dog. So come up to the hands and knees if you want, or you can just find a way to come to standing. Stretch back into the legs. Walk your hands back to your feet. Grab the elbows. Rest your top of your head on your forearms. Just kind of gently sway side to side here. And we're getting ready to move into our last little section here. So we're going to come back onto our mat, and we're going to be sitting kind of the same way we start with teaser. So some arm choice again. Traditionally, you have your fingers pointing toward your toes, but if it's more comfortable to have them out to the side, that's fine. You can also go down your forearms with this, but actually that can be more challenging. So easier on the wrist, but challenging on the core. So show you what that looks like though. So you're gonna kind of just lift like this for that. But I'm gonna start with some modifications that you can't really do well from the forearms. They'll help us get into the leg pull down. So we're going to start in like a reverse tabletop. Again, the kind of the challenge here is keeping the torso stable. So you're just going to lift a leg and place it back down. If you're not ready to straighten the leg, you can just kind of lift it up and put it down. Again, if you want, you can lift it, straighten it, put it back down. So we'll just do a couple more of those. If that's enough for you, I almost feel like that's enough for me this morning, but I'll go ahead and show you guys the other variations. So you're going to straighten your legs out like that, and you don't want the toes out to the side. You really want to try to touch your big toes to the ground. That's going to lift the hips. And so starting out, just kind of shift the weight. So you're not even lifting the leg, but you're going to press the right foot down and just kind of reduce the weight on the left foot. Press the left foot down. Kind of reduce the weight on the right. If you want to, though, you can stick with that, or you can start lifting the leg. Flex the heel as it comes down. And make sure that you're not sinking or rolling out your hips or your feet. We'll just do a couple more of these. All right, and slowly, gently come back down to seated position. Start doing a little cool down now. You're going to do a bridge pose if you'd like to use a block for a supported bridge. Grab a block. And so I'm going to start by just kind of taking a few breaths here. Line up so that your feet are about hip width apart. You know, ideally you want to bring them close enough so that you can touch your heels with your arms. You'll have different arm lengths though, so it's just kind of a rough estimate. You come into bridge though, you don't want to be feeling a bunch of strain on your knees. So make sure they're not falling out to the side or folding into each other. So with an inhale, you're going to start to tilt your pelvis so the tailbone is tilting toward the ceiling, lower back presses into the ground. And then as you inhale, start raising the hips, lifting the back off the ground, vertebrae by vertebra. And if you're using a block, you can grab that and put it under you. You can also use your hands as a support. Depending on how warmed up I am, sometimes that's almost a little too much. Let's take a couple breaths here. It's always nice to end a practice with an inversion too. We kind of get our blood circulating to our extremities. It's just a good way to kind of get it going back to your head so you don't end the workout just feeling tired. And slowly come back down, vertebra by vertebra. And we're going to do a little side twist just to kind of stretch out the arms and the back a little bit more. So arms come out to a T, knees are bent, and you're just going to drop the knees as far as they'll go to the right side. If you want to keep a block under your knee, if you're having a hard time kind of dropping them down without lifting that left shoulder off the ground, because as soon as that shoulder comes up, you start losing some of the stretch through your midsection. Couple deep breaths. If you want a little more stretch, you can extend that top leg, catch it with your right hand. Feel a little deeper stretch into the back of the hamstring and the outside of the left hip. And legs come back together. Using the core muscles, bring the knees back up so that they're pointing toward the ceiling. Again, with control, bring your block to the other side, getting that set up if you think you might be using it. We're just going to gently drop our legs to the left, keeping the right shoulder on the ground. Let's take a couple breaths here. And again, I've kind of got a wall in the way here, but a little scooch, and you can extend that left leg. I guess if you're like this, you can just kind of rest it against the corner of the wall. But make sure that you are keeping your right shoulder down. Feeling a nice stretch through kind of the top of the left shoulder, kind of the middle of your right side, and all down through the iliotibial band, the hamstrings. And bring your knees back together. If you had that top leg extended with the core, just pull your knees back up. One more gentle inversion. You can stretch your arms overhead for a little more chest opening. If you want extra chest opening, you can grab a block or a foam roller or something and put it kind of in between your shoulder blades at the top. I like to stretch my arms up, and we're just going to join our feet together. If that's comfortable, cobbler pose, or you can just go straight into Shavasana now. Take a few breaths here. Again, opening up the hips a little bit, opening up the chest, getting a nice stretch, and very, very mild final inversion if you're using a block under your torso. And we'll just do maybe a minute of Shavasana. You can stay in Shavasana longer, or if this is just really comfortable and you're like, I'm relaxed, stay here. You can totally stay in cobbler pose. If you want, you can bring your hands down out from your body about a 45-degree angle. Just take a few minutes to check in with your body. Let your body incorporate the work that you've just done. Breathe deep. Bring your heart rate down if it's gone up a little bit. And like I said, if you want to stay in Shavasana a bit longer, feel free to do so. I've only had 1 cup of coffee today, so I should probably get out of Shavasana before I fall asleep again. So if you have a block under your torso, just kind of gently roll to the side, remove that block, and come into a fetal position, resting your head on your right arm. Always come to my right side. Couple more deep breaths, and then slowly, when you're ready, start to push yourself up to a seated position. If you want to do a couple final arm shakeouts or a leg shakeout, whatever you need to do to kind of wake your body back up, rub your hands together, build up a little bit of heat, touch your face with it, cover your eyes. Deep breath, and we're done with that little chunk of Pilates anyway. So what's your guys' feedback?
Good. It was amazing.
Okay, why do you like it? Do you have any like tips or suggestions, or did I give any weird cues that you guys were like?
Emma?
Sorry, what?
Emma was saying something.
I was just going to apologize for not doing. I was just going to apologize for not doing whatever it was before bridge. Oh, reverse tabletop.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
I
worst
think
posture.
shoulders.
Yeah.
It's not.
No,
it's
yeah, and
not
definitely if
acceptable
you
for
have
me.
like something that you're letting
Yeah.
heal, and I mean Pilates is great, but I mean, yeah, with any exercise program, there's going to be certain parts of it that, like, you know, depending on, you know, prior injuries or just even how warmed up or how you're feeling that day, there's going to be certain things that like even, you know, some of the modifications aren't good. And, you know, with Pilates, there's actually like Pilates for osteoporosis, but like that program just completely omits like several of the exercises because there's no way that you can modify it to have it be safe, you know, but that doesn't mean that you can't do Pilates if you have osteoporosis or if you have like a knee or a shoulder injury. But yeah, there'll definitely.
That's why I went into the bridge and was lifting my leg, you know, because I was modifying it for myself, you know, because it's better than me just sat there going, I can't do this. So
yeah. Well,
but any of those exercises, like the ones that are, you know, up like this, I'm fine on this side, but this side I can't. And even a modification like that isn't going to help.
Right, because you've still got the weight on your shoulder.
Yeah, it's I've got bones that are literally hitting each other. There's yeah, so and I've got arthritis, so yeah, I have to listen to my body.
Yeah, and that's
I always feel really bad when you do a posture and I can't do it, and I don't know a modification because I don't know Pilates very well. But
right, and like I said, with some stuff like that where you're going up, you know, it's like you're either like that or you're like that, and if you've got a shoulder injury, it's just, you know, you
just skip the whole
like, you know, I mean, do some like stretches or
I really hate that aspect of my body right now, but it's getting sorted. So
well, that's good. But yeah, you definitely don't want to do anything that's going to aggravate things. So,
but no, I really enjoyed that because I suppose that was gentler than Elena's classes. Sorry,
really, I thought Melody always finds a way to challenge me. I was done by the end of the class. I don't know how you find it easier than my class.
I meant no offense by that at all. There was no shade or anything. I enjoy your class.
I'm just kidding. Don't worry. I know, like you too. Like you find something that I'm like, oh come on, are we done yet? Yeah, I was having a few moments there. Like when I thought that we were done, like wrapping up. That's when I usually like mentally I know that like I would wrap up there. But then Mel is like, no, let's go do this and like, oh my god.
My butt is gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, she did like double.
That's never a bad thing. You know, a bigger butt isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, Pilates is good, really good for working on the glutes and on the hips mobility. I really love Pilates. And I noticed that you, Mel, you gave us like double. I usually go, like, I start with the oyster when you open the knee, kind of like to warm up the joints, you know, and then I go knee to knee, toe to toe. This is what you were doing. But you did it towards the end. So my only suggestion would be, like if you are on one side, just finish like the whole thing on one side, because when you were switching sides,
honestly, I forgot to do oyster.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Then I realized, like when we were in the stretch, I'm like, crap, I never did oyster. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just do like stretch break and then back to oyster.
I was thinking like maybe she forgot to do it, you know, or something.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, like if you start with oyster, if you just start with oyster, like a hip sequence, start with oyster, then you won't forget it, and then the rest it just flows, you know, because you can skip a few of the exercises. But if you do the oyster is really good for warming up the hips, and then just like stay on one side until you're completely done with it. Then you stretch it, and then you switch like to the other side, or you can add some like abdominal work in between, you know, like you can add the hundreds. Or like while you're laying down and like stretching on, or I don't know, maybe you would choose to do the seated stretch. That's fine too. But you are already kind of laying down on the side, so might as well just roll over on your back, do the stretching, and then do some abdominals, and then you switch to the other side. This is how I do it usually. This way, it's like I remember, you know, because I if I don't do it that way, I'll forget something, you know. Yeah. That's kind of the only, but the rest of it was really good. I loved it. It was challenging though. Well, weekends are really hard for me to like make myself really exercise. These are the days I'm usually not doing much, you know. Yeah.
You gotta
Because we
have those
didn't.
days every once in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't start doing this consistently. I want to keep it somewhat consistent so we can exchange. I think this exchange is very good and healthy. It's helpful for us and for teaching. So I really want to keep it consistent, and this way we get to practice. Because I also wanted to give you a few exercises for the face yoga that I'm
Oh yeah.
going through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next week. Next week we'll prepare something, and
Okay.
yeah, we'll have some fun with it because it's quite intense. Like it's mentally exhausting, you know. It's not that much like physically because you're only moving your mouth, and it's pretty challenging actually.
I feel like
Yeah.
at the same time, like sometimes those little muscles that you forget about are like the hardest, and especially like I don't know. I've been told I have like an accent. I'm like, no, I don't. But like, I mostly think it
You
does
have
is
a-
like I don't like to use a lot of my face muscles. So then like I sound funny sometimes. But a lot of that's just like where I live. Like I don't sound different from like the people I live around. But
I love your accent.
we're just lazy about lazy about using our face muscles.
Yeah,
Like we
face
smile and we
muscles.
say everything through a smile, and that's the only muscles we have trained.
Yeah, face muscles are amazing. There are like 57 muscles in face, and like they are all connected, you know. They are connected to brain, to our pelvis actually. So I'll have to kind of like dive in deeper to explain to you some things, and then I'll give you a few exercises, and then next time I'll do the class we will switch, you know, like between classes, and then next time I'll show you a few more. But the thing with the face yoga, you have to practice it every day. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time, but if you want the effect of it, like you will notice, like the tightening and lifting, if you stay consistent. You know, it's just like any other muscles out there.
Yeah.
So.
Muscles atrophy quick when you aren't using
Oh,
them
very
every
quick.
day.
I didn't do it for like a few days now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get back to it, it's just like I can't. Like it's breathing is a little hard, you know. It's just like you're so tensing up. Oh, and then if you are not doing it consistently, you also tend to tense up here on the eyes. You know, like instead of the mouth, the eyes will kick in. So you have to really watch which body section is working here. So we have some feedback from guys. Yeah, guys, tell us how was the class. Give some feedback for Melody. Ship says, great class. My favorite part was hearing about Mel's bony side hips. Yeah. What's
Yeah.
the padding that you were using?
Oh, it's just one of these things. I love it because like it's great for kneeling,
Mini
up
mat.
on your knees too. And like, you know, I mean, yoga mats are great, but when it's on top of like a hard floor, they just
Oh,
don't
I'm
offer
using-
that much. And I feel like, oh,
This
nice,
one's
you got
quite
like one of
thick.
those thick mats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thick mats are better for
Yeah.
Pilates. Thin mats
Yeah.
are better for yoga.
Well, the person whose house I'm looking after, she does Pilates.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
okay.
Yeah. So
See? Yeah. Pilates is really great. It's good for everyone. And Melody, it's good that you bring us back to the basics because there were some exercises I was like, wow, I even forgot about them because I've been teaching Pilates for a while at the gym now and online. And I usually don't teach those. I'm like, maybe I should start teaching them too because I felt the effect, you know?
Nice.
So like straight leg raises, the ones that you were doing when you were laying down on the
Oh, like
side,
on the side.
just one leg. Yeah, I usually don't do that one. And then the one where you were on the kneeling position, I don't do that one very often. But it's good because it activates the obliques, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. A
On
little
the
bit
side
more
of
the
the
kneeling
body.
one, or yeah, if you've got something where you're just like laying on your side for that long is not comfortable, or you know, it's nice having different variations. And yeah,
Yeah.
doing it from like an upright position versus lying is gonna like engage. I mean, it all engages the core muscles, but it's gonna engage them in a slightly different way.
Different
So
way.
kind
Yeah.
of mix it up.
Yeah, I loved it how you mixed it up. And yeah, let's keep it running, ladies. We are going to keep doing this community class because I love it. Okay, I love it. So
Fun.
guys, remember to send us comments if you're watching the replay. Leave your comments under like a few words what you liked about the class, what could be improved. We are here for constructive feedback. Okay. And yeah, well, say yeah. Yeah, we appreciate your feedback, guys. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe, and follow the ladies. I'll leave them in the description box. And thank you for watching us. Thank you for joining us today. Join me for my piano practice later on. But I have to admit I didn't practice this week, so it's going to be bad. Yeah. Well,
Sure, you'll
anyway,
sound
we'll
great.
see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll just have fun. Okay. See you. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye.